A lesson plan for teaching English as a second language classes has a logical structure, starting with the warmer introduction into a topic, activation of previous knowledge of students, what is their opinion, is the topic connected to the sphere of their interests, and so on. So it's usually questions where you can use some visuals, pictures, or a little movie. Pre-teaching, the next step is pre-teaching of some vocabulary you think your students can be unfamiliar with. It's usually some grammar or vocabulary points, 3 or 5, not so much. And keep in mind that it's only if it's necessary for the lesson you have to pre-teach this vocabulary. And then you teach, you're supposed to ask questions about understanding, ask if they know it and if they can explain the meaning, provide it is better to provide some context, a picture or a little text, so that they can clearly see the meaning of grammar or vocabulary. Check understanding, and it's better if you focus on some pronunciation aspects if it's necessary. And the last step is to write it on your board, either physical or virtual board, and highlight phonology. The next step, number 3, is the main step, is presentation of your material. It can be either text, audio, video, or a picture. But before doing this task, just ask. We cannot just ask them to watch this video and try to understand. It is better if they have some easy simple gist question about what is happening or what is the video about. So it's not in-depth question, just a simple gist question. After that, the next step is controlled practice. You just deeper check the understanding of this material, audio, video, text, with some questions, specific questions, or they have to find some vocabulary. So it's up to you. So check understanding of the material, of your target vocabulary or your target grammar rules. For example, it can be, first of all, exercises has to be really easy. For example, gap fill exercises, true, false, find some vocabulary in the context. But the next stage, it is kind of pre-speaking stage. It is freer practice, and what it means that half of the material is provided for the student, but half they have to use their own ideas and express their own opinion. It is free practice. Yes, students should use their own ideas within this specific context. So we are not going straight into speaking phase, stage where they express their opinion, but we gradually, with the help of a picture, with the help of sentences Maybe it can be a complete half of the sentence with your ideas. Describe what you see. Describe daily routine of this girl, if there is such a picture. So it can be any exercise relevant to target vocabulary and grammar, but not exactly. But should be some support for speaking. It's not free speaking, but it will be in the next stage in production. This final step. It's either a piece of writing, or it can be just speaking, a conversation, a dialogue. It's usually we express our opinions about this topic, about this text, about video, specific situation, give advice, prediction, some recommendation. It's usually some questions are used, and you can tell your students just to make the speaking activity easier. Before they do it, you can provide them with your own opinion, your own example, and after they can discuss it in pairs with particular situation. And it's better if they have some target language, so you can point out to your target language on the board, or you can provide them with the list of questions. Yes, specific questions, including target language, can be formed to start the discussion. And keep in mind that it is a standard lesson plan using the CELTA presentation technique, traditional modern model presentation practice production, and it's can be a little boring to use all the time, and we use it more. It is most suitable for beginners and elementary levels, probably for some pre-intermediate and intermediate. Of course, you can use it for advanced learners, but you can flip it, so you can start with bigger discussion about the topic, and then you can do some exercises, learn new grammar, vocabulary points, and then just to repeat this production stage with new vocabulary. So for more examples using these lesson planning techniques, you can find on my website. There are lesson plans, video-based lesson plans for elementary, pre-intermediate and intermediate learners. And topics include health, food, character and personality, daily life, social issues, culture. There are some lessons on business vocabulary and IELTS preparation. So these are video-based lessons, and they're mainly using CELTA methodology, and they're discussion oriented. So let's go to the main topic. It is creativity and interactivity during online classroom, online teaching, English teaching. So as for me, I've been teaching online for 5 years. So it was before COVID, it was pre-COVID, and yes, for me it wasn't such a big problem to transfer my lessons, because most of my lessons were online, and the main problem is learning space for our online lessons. So we are provided with some platforms, Zoom, Google, Skype, etc. But why not to make lessons, and so that we can use them with our students and then reuse them, maybe after slight modification we can reuse it, the same or similar lesson with another student, and also at the same time we make our lessons available for thousands of people. For example, topic is healthy food, where we can provide additional videos and texts, and everything is on one page. So different tools, online tools, can be used for this situation. We can use blogs, website, Google Slides, Padlet, YouTube. We can make a YouTube video, even a podcast. And they are all different platforms with their own functionality. They all have their own share of interactivity. But my choice is a website, and further I will explain you why. Because the website, there are a lot of platforms where you can make your own website for free, and the amount of tools they provide is enormous. On one single web page you can, for example, have topic healthy food for adults, for elementary or pre-intermediate students. You can include additional videos, tests. You can embed tests straight into your page, additional audios, texts, and it all can be on the same page. Also, if you buy a website address, your domain, and make your own website, it will be yours forever. Also, with other platforms which are not your platforms, they just let you use their space for free. Your content unfortunately can be removed, because you don't actually own 100% your content, and it's quite ambiguous, this idea, because if the platform is not yours, so content also cannot be entirely yours, and functionality is quite limited. For example, Google Slides, Padlet, YouTube. Yes, it's okay, it's another question. The next, what I'm gonna talk about, what is actually interactivity? Interactivity online. Mostly people, I think that interactivity, first what comes to my mind is interactive exercises in language teaching, where I can click, where I can move things with my finger, and I can auto-check my answers, and it's kind of fun. And also a lot of apps, mobile learning. It's also interactive, where we just have one question with, for example, 4 answers on our phone, and we click and auto-check, and it's kind of convenient to use, especially during mobile learning and app learning. So interactivity, I think, is not actually moving things with your finger, and it's not just auto check. Interactivity is about getting people engaged via communication, makes them active. We can use visuals, videos and pictures, constantly activate students. So this is interactivity besides just interactive exercises. So creativity and interactivity go hand in hand. And the question is how to teach a language and make it creative and interactive process. So mostly we should lead to make students go to the outside world, to make them communicate with other people. Especially it will be beneficial for adults and more confident learners. And it can be done via Facebook, so they can join different groups, and via YouTube they can make their own videos. They can send comments. They can comment YouTube videos. If they have Instagram followers, they can ask them. They can interact with their audience on Instagram, on other social media platforms. For example, recently I had a lesson on character and personality, and one of my students have a significant significant audience on Instagram, and she told me that she will ask her followers what her character is, and she was really excited about it. And this is a great example of interactivity, how we can integrate our learning experience into real life and get some feedback from people. And this is a good example, also can be a better example. Let's think about it. So it's about real-time interaction with your students during lesson. You can use different discussion boards. So let me know about your ideas, about what interactive tools do you use, what do you use to facilitate real-time interaction, what discussion boards do you use. So interactivity during online learning, yes, it is about clicking on links, doing interactive tests, playing games, role plays, board games. For example, we can such examples of discussion boards or just interactive boards for real-time interaction. Jamboard, Mirrorboard, Padlet can be used. Well, anything, even if it's a chat just on Skype or on Zoom, it is still can be considered like a board. And also an interesting example with Pinterest, as we can create board there and collect pictures, and it's great for collecting data about a subject. for example, about how to describe a house, how to describe a room, and we can find on Pinterest different types of houses. And the next question is how to expand creativity in general in your teaching English process. Always try something new. Don't stick to the familiar, expand your horizons. For example, you can flip lessons where students, they have this main material, a video, a text they have to read at home, and after it's the lesson you kind of do your homework and discuss it. Secondly, give them a choice. Ask students what they want to do. For example, 3 options. What lesson do you want? Do you want lesson on food? Do you want lesson on sport? Or on some other interesting topic? Yes, we have to incorporate their interests. We have to know what makes them excited. Also, another question for you. Please let me know what unconventional learning materials can we use as during online learning. My example would be YouTube comments. I use them as vocabulary, to teach vocabulary. Cafe reviews, restaurant or cafe reviews on Facebook, really full of real and natural English vocabulary. For example, about clothes, if it's topic about clothes, we can use websites where people buy clothes, shopping websites, and blogs. Blogs is really interesting material as native English speakers can write posts on different topics, and maybe we can write a comment, and sometimes this comment for this blog post can be answered. And one time I really liked one blogger on minimalism, and we had a lesson on minimalism, and I found this blog post really fascinating. I didn't want just plain old text for my lesson. I wanted more. I wanted preferably the video, but I asked the blogger for audio file for my teaching, and she kindly recorded her voice, and now I'm very glad that she did it. And that's how you can interact with the community, English speaking community, and this is a real interactivity. And also I think it was also interesting for you. What are your examples of interactivity and creativity in your English teaching experience?